Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
With the radio blast and goes cruising just as fast as she can now.
I thought I might stay over tonight.
Why?
Because we're girlfriend, boyfriend.
To do what?
I'm actually not sure.
And she'll have fun, 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 fun. And she'll have fun, 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 fun. And she'll have fun, 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 fun.
Okay, ladies, let's do this.
She'll have fun, and she'll have fun, fun.
What are you doing here?
I'm coming with you.
Aloha. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man. And, well, you know, today, the opening weekend of the new movie with Margot Robbie. And a whole host of others. Jake Gyllenhaal, Simu Liu, Will Ferrell. I went ahead and I saw this movie directed by Oscar-nominated director Greta Gerwig. And, well, remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up. It's good to see. I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And, well, for Barbie, the Greta Gerwig directed movie starring Margot Robbie, a woman who, you know, is probably one of the better people to represent, a beautiful doll such as Barbie. And overall, the rating is shock a thumbs down. Now, take in mind that I am a guy, I am not the demographic for this movie. Just on face value, with a name like Barbie, about the girl's doll Barbie, one would think that this would be for small children. At the very least, women per se, right? But overall, this is, to give credit where credit is due, I will say that this movie is very deep. And a lot of thought went into this movie. And I think Greta Gerwig really pushes the envelope far beyond expectations for what people might have been thinking of a Barbie movie. Now this idea had been floating around Hollywood and Mattel, the owners of Barbie, for quite some time. I believe even at one point the comedian, who's that comedian from Bridesmaid? Oh gosh, I was just thinking about her. I can't remember. Oh shoot, what is her name? I can't remember. But she was, I'll put it up here. She was thinking about starring in this movie, as kind of a offshoot, where she would play Barbie, very out of type. And, and that would have been a completely different kind of Barbie movie. With Margot Robbie attached to it, a lot of people breathed a little easier knowing how beautiful Margot Robbie is, having seen at least the part of Wolf of Wall Street that she's in. I would agree that, she definitely has a Barbie-esque look to her. Now, of course, as everyone knows, there is no realistic proportions for what a human-sized Barbie doll would actually be. No human can, can reach those proportions. Even with surgery, I believe some women have tried with plastic surgery. But Margot Robbie, as a standard beauty, a very good, beautiful woman, does a decent job of, being in this movie the stereotypical Barbie. And basically that is how it opens up. We see Barbie Land in this Mattel-made world, where it is fantasy. They are all, we have all the different incarnations of Barbie: Dr. Barbie, Astronaut Barbie, President Barbie, Dr. Barbie, like I said. Pulitzer Prize-winning Barbie, you name it, it's there. She's there, being representative to little girls everywhere. What we don't have is, what was that, from the 60s, from the 70s? The I hate math Barbie. She is not represented in this movie at all. And along with her Ken, her, I suppose, opposite. Now, as a boy, as a man, I never had Barbie dolls, but my sister, she had some Barbie dolls. She had just the head of the Barbie. She had some Barbie dolls, and then she had the head of the Barbie, with the one with the hair that you could pretend to cut the hair, and put the makeup on, I guess. So she had all that. And, as a kid, I was not a destructive child, so I didn't destroy her Barbies. At least I don't remember destroying any Barbies. I know, like in Toy Story, people have, it's commented, and throughout history, people have, boys in particular, have popped the heads off of many a Barbie. I did find, maybe the articulation, I guess, Barbie coming out before or around the same time as G.I. Joes. I guess they had greater articulation than some of the boy dolls or action figures that they would be later called, had at the time. So, if you were doing fighting, which I believe I did a couple of times with my sister's Barbie, those legs could extend for some good kicks here and there, when you're having them battle, say, some Voltrons or Transformer, or even well before that, the Shogun Warriors, etc., etc. Like what I had as a child. Now, this movie, I was thinking this movie would basically be like Disenchanted. I'd seen the previews, like I just showed you at the beginning of this review, about Barbie has kind of a crisis going on that, she's falling out of perfection. Basically, her heels go flat, etc. She gets a little fat, basically becoming somewhat more human. And so she must travel to the real world to put things right. So very much like a Disenchanted Disney movie that we had seen where, the Disney princess comes to the real world and, tries to maybe work her magic there to put things right, and then discovers the real world, etc. Well, that kind of happens in this, but Greta Gerwig takes a different ploy using these elements and the elements that surrounded Barbie as being, the perfect woman per se, the perfect professional, everything that young girls should esteem to be. Unfortunately, getting the backlash with the looks that, maybe depressing young girls, young women into thinking that, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to look like Barbie, which unfortunately can never happen and never occur. And all the way to, I'm going to become a professional astronaut Barbie, etc., which maybe put unrealistic expectations into the minds of these poor young women or young girls when growing up, to kind of try to strive for something that was never truly achievable. And Greta Gerwig really pokes that angle of this movie very well and very insightful. Both talking about the male-dominated real world and how it shocks and, disrupts Barbie's ideal life, both in when she travels to the real world, but when Ken goes with her and takes back these stereotypical male dominated views of the world, he destroys the perfect Barbie Land world that Margot Robbie's Barbie and all the other Barbies live. And basically start to turn it into Ken Land, basically trying to turn it into the epitome of male-dominated society. So, Greta Gerwig, I guess, works on various levels. The social dynamics of society, of patriarchy, of men and women, and the stereotypes, the division between the two, and really nails those home in this film. And she does a good job doing so, and she puts forth these points very validly and concisely, and she makes a strong argument to why Barbie has to change, and the traditional looking at Barbie through a man's eyes or etc., or through pretend in a little girl's eyes that Barbie's everything, and if you could grow up to be Barbie, everything would be perfect. And that is an unrealistic expectation, and the girls need to, get a dose of reality with that and change it, but also, come to expect that that's not reality, but also use that pretend world, their dreams of playing with Barbie, to try to enact some type of change in the world for greater female empowerment, and to kind of buck the system, because Greta looks towards the CEOs of Mattel as being male dominated, even society. When Margot Robbie comes to the real world, she is harassed, she is sexually assaulted, she is exposed to bad language, etc., and basically sexually exploited, which I'm not 100% sure that would completely happen, at least not in the areas of broad daylight like that, as so obnoxiously portrayed in this movie. Yes, maybe some people would, but I don't think all of society is like that. Being a man myself, I don't look at every beautiful woman as, I'm going to have my way with her. It's like, what kind of craziness is this? And I realize that, in the short time span of this hour and 45 minutes for this Barbie movie, she's trying to get to the point of, society is bad, male-dominated society is bad, and there needs to be an equality between the two, not the woman-controlled Barbie Land. Well, I don't know. I guess she is saying the woman-controlled Barbie Land, because Ken goes and changes it, but by the end of the movie, it's changed back to just Barbies running Barbie Land, and Ken gets some wokeness knocked into him, essentially, and becomes a more compassionate, self-actualized person for a doll, I guess. To whereas he doesn't feel the need to dominate Barbie and to feel like she is his only purpose for existing, that he can exist in his own right, essentially. And Barbie, on the flip side, learns that she is more than just a Barbie and more than just Ken and Barbie together, and she has to find something more to fulfill her life as well. So again, maybe a combination of maybe a little bit of the Muppet movie in this, a little bit of Pinocchio in this, and I hate to say it, but a little bit of Xanadu, maybe even. There are some great dance numbers in this, that I feel is really reminiscent of like a Xanadu, and some great costuming, like again Xanadu. I feel that this will play very well to the LGBT crowd, with both the Ken, the costuming, the music, and the dancing. But it misses the mark for little girls. I think it's too deep for them. And I don't know if their parents will really want to be taking them to see this movie and have to explain at the end of the movie what exactly all this means. And I don't think teenagers will really take much, joy in wanting to go see this movie. I think at best this will become hopefully a cult classic. But I think for theaters, I think it's going to be a miss. Now, mind you, there was a lot of theaters showing this movie and a lot of times, but the movie, in my theater, it wasn't packed, and, it was mostly adults. Some people brought their children, and I really thought the children were bored, because it is these high concepts of male and female antagonism and stereotypes, and trying to break that paradigm of those stereotypes. So I'm afraid they just may not grasp this concept, and I don't know how many parents will really want to sit down with their kids and try to explain this to them. So I don't know who this was for, who this was made for. Was it made for the guys that would like to see, some beefcake Margot Robbie be Barbie? I mean, you do see a lot of leg from her, and she's got great legs in this. But some of her face, the makeup isn't quite right. She's got, Barbie has bags, because Margot Robbie has a little bit of bags under her eyes and freckles and maybe a few wrinkles, in fact. Maybe 10 years ago this would have been a better fit for her. Not to say that she's not still beautiful and being able to portray this Barbie well, but not perfect like, she's supposed to be at the beginning of the film. It's complicated. But overall, for me, for your general male audience, it's probably most likely for sure a shock of thumbs down. And maybe for young children who may not grasp all these concepts that Greta's trying to hone in on, although they are important, I will give them that, for greater change and equality in society. I just don't think anybody is going to sit still for the hour and 45 minutes to get this kind of lecture in what people were thinking would be a fun, silly Barbie movie out of the Barbie movie. So again, overall, a Shaka thumbs down. Bravo for some really highlighting, present and today's concerns with men and women and their place in society, and looking hopefully towards equality, especially with, say Trump and the Republican Party and the lack of women's reproductive rights now, definitely seems more male oriented and more male controlling, and maybe also she was poking at that a little bit in this movie. I'm not sure, but it's sure, somebody is going to feel like this is over the head hammering. It's like, yeah, you're, you don't like it that, men are in charge and you're just, doing your woke baloney, and I think this movie is going to take a lot of heat from that portion of society. I was not overly entertained by it, and I don't feel that this movie isn't directly for children. So, if you're a young girl playing with your Barbie dolls and you want to go see, I want to see a real life Barbie and a movie about Barbie, it's kind of cool from the special. I mean, they do the set pieces for Barbie Land are really good, but I think that high concept, the important stuff is just going to be lost on these poor children and half of the audience. I don't think it's going to skew towards a good male demographic for this movie. All right. There you have it. Shaka thumbs down overall for Barbie. A good attempt, an earnest from the heart attempt to bring some relevancy to Barbie, but I think it's just overall too high brow and highfalutin notions for what people might have wanted from a Barbie movie. All right. Mahalo and aloha.